have words of praise to God for something that's working in your life, just give it a word. What's lifting you up right now? Just speak the word. Universal support, manifestation, love. So God, we give thanks and acknowledge all the good that's happening right here, right now, in every aspect of our life. We claim that your goodness, your hope, your love, your prosperity, your health, your abundance in every way is known in each soul right here, right now. We claim this in and after the nature of Jesus Christ, and so it is. And together we say amen and amen. Together, amen. And so it is. Oh, yeah, hey, hallelujah. I can't stop it. Oh, yeah, hey, I love that song because there's a vibration to it. The word oh yeah hey ya in and of itself does not have a translation. It's a vibration. The reason we feel it is because it was right from source, as Ricky Byers, I believe, channeled that. That's a Ricky Byers Beckwith song, straight from spirit for us, for the world. When we're tapped into spirit and we can bring a message like that, it not only blesses us, the receiver, but it blesses all. Amen? Raise your hand if you felt the vibrational healing in that song. Yeah. And it doesn't have a meaning other than the sound that it is. It's just a sound. It's a vibration. And I always feel it from my heart chakra up. And sometimes it even makes me cry when I sing it. And I don't know why. I just know I'm releasing something that needs to be released. I trust that. I trust that. So today we are on in our book, Song of Increase. But I want to step aside from this and just feel if there's anything different I need to do this service. So give me a second. So each of us in our life has a vibrational tone that we are living from. That vibrational tone pervades everything that we do, everything that we say, everything that we write down, every email we send, every way we speak to our hairdresser, the way we talk to our children and our grandchildren, the way we drive our cars, the way we pay our bills. There's a vibrational tone that is your life. And there's also, engaged in all that, this desire to be more. So as you are stepping into the more that God has for you, this vibrational tone becomes expansive and richer. And that is the process you find yourself in right now. It's the process I find myself in right now. There is an expanding of the vibrational tone of your life, and within all of that vibrational tone is your healing, your desire, and even the parts that yet are not known to you. So there is a healing that's wanting to come in and through your life right now, and that is exactly why you find yourself here this very day, because we are going to be talking about the very healing of our souls through the spiritual work. So what helps me in work like this is when I can take my attention and literally just place it in my heart. You might say, I don't know how to do that. Your mind doesn't have to know, your soul already knows. So just say out loud, I place my attention in my heart. Mm-hmm. Place my attention in my heart. So you are preparing to manifest from the soul level, right? And to do that, you need to be very clear about where you're going, and you need to call the right people to you, right? So that's what we're going to talk about today. Number one is building your dream team. Building your dream team. Because the universe has amazing plans for you. The universe wants to come in, support you, but can only do so at the very level that you are accepting. And the trick is, no one can do this for you. Only you and only you have the power to do this in your own life. So the question is, what is the dream that you're trying to make manifest, and who are those people you're drawing to you to manifest it? Because you are not meant to do it alone. As a matter of fact, you were designed to be in collaboration with everyone. Right? You were designed to be in collaboration to serve the collective. So what are you trying to bring forward? Okay, if you're trying to bring a dream forward, you need a dream team. Can I have an amen? Amen. Your dream team needs to be made up of people who have the vision and the knowledge and the skill to carry out the thing that you are desiring to do. Vision, knowledge, and skill. If they just have vision, that usually means they're just dreamers. With no stick-to-itiveness, my daddy would say. Right? So vision is wonderful, but without the knowledge and skill to carry that out, your dream will never be made manifest. So vision, knowledge, and skill. So you want to look at the people around you that you've created in your life and say, are these people supporting the dream and vision I have for my life? Because all of us need supporters on the journey. You need it, and you're meant to have it. You are not meant to do this alone. So many of us in childhood went through tough situations, and we went through them all alone, and we're still living as if that's still happening. We have to struggle through life. You don't have to struggle. You have all the support you need, and it is up to you to call it to yourself. Right? You and only you can call it forth. You and only you can choose those right and perfect people to support your dreaming, which really is what? Your soul passion and desire. And the dreaming, what I'm talking about, is not a dream of getting anything, but giving to the world. Right? So the ego wants to get, spirit or the soul of you always wants to give. Right? So your dreaming then becomes not just about me as a person, it becomes about what I offer, but as it relates to the whole collective. Right? So whatever it is I'm bringing has got to be not only just for me, but for the collective as well. So I'm moving from the one into the oneness. That's what we're called to do. So check with yourself and make sure your dreaming is for the good of the collective. Just check in. Say with me, I'm going to check in. I'm going to check in, because our ego loves to get tricky. Our ego loves to convince us that the thing we're doing is for everybody, when really it's just about what we want. How do I know? Mine does it too. So your dream team, they have to have the vision, the knowledge, and the skill to carry out your dream. At CCU Orlando, this is very true. Because a lot of people, when they see a church, they think, oh, the minister and decides everything, and then everybody else just does what the minister wants. Well, that is a model some churches use. It's a model some businesses use. And it works for a time, but eventually that gets wore out. The model we really use is, yes, I hold the vision, but I'm always listening, gleaning from the congregation itself, from my other leaders about what's needed, and then we move forward together. It might take us a little bit longer to see something made manifest, but I'd rather do it that way, in a collaboration, in a cooperation, rather than being a top-down force it to happen. Because then everybody's engaged in the process. Right? But if I don't have the right people holding the vision with the knowledge and the skill to carry that out, that our vision will never be made manifest. We have such an amazing staff and board, prayer chaplains. Are we blessed? Maybe never before have we had this much energy and focus on true service to humanity as a whole. Our AV team, Dave's direction there. Wow, we're really, we have all the right people in the right places. So we have our dream team. What about your life now? You see how we take it from here? It's easy to see in an organization, but what about for our own life? Who's our dream team? Who are the ones that need to be, who are the ones with the vision, the knowledge, and the skill to support us living that dream in the world? Who are they? So sometimes our soul work and our prayer work becomes, God, bring the right people at the right time. And I'm open and I'm moving forward, and let me know when this is a member of my dream team. I don't think ever before CCU has reached as many people as we're reaching now all over the world. In my podcast, that's happening too. You know, I started the podcast last July, and it was what was an idea and a vision, and it became a goal, and then the goal became showing up and meeting with people and doing research, and then pretty soon it turned into recording, and then it turned into buying a channel, and then it turned into providing. Now, 5 days a week, something comes out on that channel. We're in over 30 countries and over 18,000 downloads, and it's been less than a year. That's amazing. That's amazing. And why is that true? Because I have the right dream team. And so if you were taking notes, number one would be your dream team. Number two is exactly why, because we're creating in love. The show, the church, is being created in love for the highest good of all. For the highest good of all. We're all human, we all make mistakes, but the highest good is what we're holding. In other words, the very thing we're creating serves humanity itself. If it doesn't serve humanity itself in some way, you probably ought not to do it. That's how we say it down south, ought not to. In other words, stop. But anything that you're wanting to create that's wanting to come in and through you should be serving the collective. Because we've got enough people serving the individuals. Can I have an amen? We see that on TV every day ad nauseum. It seems to be what everyone wants to see right now. When in fact, that's the least interesting thing going on. Creation in love for the highest good of all. In other words, creating for humanity itself. Love for all is the reason we're doing it. I believe the world is waking up, but I also believe I'm a voice in helping that happen. I absolutely believe I am called to that. So then that's mine to do. Right? So see, then that's mine to do and manifest. But to do that, I have to hold this, I'm going to use this phrase, holding the frame. It's my job to hold the frame. Now, in psychology, this is an idea between therapist and client, isn't it? I don't know if you've ever heard of that in relation to therapy, but the idea is that holding the frame means the patient is in a safe, loving, and protected environment, and that rather than having a social relationship, there is a strict therapeutic relationship that's going on that's different than any other. It's holding the frame of that relationship, that frame of safety. What I'm speaking of as I'm using this term, holding the frame, is that we move in and out of vision into manifestation and back. For instance, even though I'm the senior minister of CCU and I am the CEO, that is my role, I'm spiritual leader, all those things, when I go away, you're still holding the frame. You're holding it. I go off and I go and speak at other churches. I'm going out and I come back. I fly out and I fly back, and you're here. You got the whole thing humming. The staff, the board, the prayer chaplains. As a matter of fact, somebody just told me, you were gone a few weeks ago. I came, it was my first Sunday, and I couldn't believe how well everything was running. I said, they don't need me to run things. They are capable of that on their own. Because I trust my employees to do what's theirs to do. Right? So we're all holding this frame together, see? So how then in your own life are you holding this consciousness? Whatever your dream might be, how are you holding the frame? And so for me, there's literally this feeling of energy, and it's right here. It's between kind of my heart chakra and fourth and sixth chakra, right in here for me, about holding the frame. So what am I intending? And I hold that frame, and everything else unlike that fades away. I'm holding this frame of what I'm wanting to create, of what I'm wanting to manifest, of what God is wanting to do in and through me. I'm holding this frame in my mind's eye, and things unlike it fade away. But I'm holding the frame. Say with me, I'm holding the frame. Together, I'm holding the frame. And it is a place of safety and comfort and love for us when we can hold the frame, because we're honoring what God is trying to do in and through us. So it's like we're holding it for ourselves, but not just ourselves. Again, if we're on purpose, we're serving the collective in everything that we're doing. So you don't want people and opinions and what the stock market's doing to decide who you are and what you're about. That's a collapse of the frame then. You want to know exactly what's yours to do, when, and how to do it. You are a mighty manifester, creating something grand for the world. You don't have time for this other stuff. You've got something to do. Your job is to hold that frame, hold that energy, hold that consciousness, and which means you're holding the vision. At the same time, you're going out and doing little manifestations and then coming back. You're going out and then you're coming back. That's how the bees do it. See, when one of them goes out, all the rest are still very busy creating. Because the idea has been held in consciousness by each and every honeybee. The same idea. The same idea. Page 60 has a reading about manifestation. So my fourth point today is the world we imagine. Let me say a bit about that. The world we imagine. So the world we imagine is the world that we have and the world that we get. The world we imagine becomes the world in which we live, is how it's said in the book. The world we imagine becomes the world in which we live. So if we're not actively, consciously imagining, manifesting, going out to do the work, then guess what? That's exactly what we get. This and that, this and that. But if we imagine with clarity, holding that energy and that consciousness, then we begin to start seeing a clarity return to us. And many of us sit and wait on God to bring it. When in fact, God can do no more for you, than God can do through you, right? So God says, I'm ready. And we're saying, I'm ready. God says, I'm ready. We're saying, I'm ready. Who's going to go first? God can do no more for us than God can do through us. Remember that. Remember that. So I could have a wonderful vision about a podcast, and if I never show up, it will not manifest. I have got to show up. I have got to put it on my calendar. I have got to do the study. I have got to pay the bills. It's not free to do a podcast. This might be new information. It is not free. Buying your own podcast channel is not free. As a matter of fact, even Unity approached me, unity.fm or whatever, internet something or other, and said, hey, do you want to do a podcast for us? I said, no, I have my own channel. I'm happy to have Unity guests on, but I have my own channel because I know this is mine to do, and it's so much bigger even than Unity. It's for the world. And it's about the experience of the soul, and that even transcends denomination, even my own. Experience of the Soul podcast channel is for all souls. And as soon as I put a denomination on it, people are going to think that's not for them. So who is manifesting that? Well, God through me, obviously. But Without me, God's going to have a really interesting time making that happen. So it won't happen through me, it'll happen through somebody else probably. Because God's will is going to be done. But without us, the manifestation cannot occur. And how do you know it's yours to do? Because you have the idea. That's how you know it's yours to do. We have this rule here at our church that when you have a divine idea about what the church should do, suddenly you're the leader of that program. Amen? You say you want to do a singles group. Are you single? The answer is yes, then. Okay, so the world we imagine becomes the world in which we live, but it is up to us to do the work of manifestation. Remember, God cannot bring it necessarily to your door if you're not showing up for yourself. Sometimes it's hard to show up for yourself, to believe you're worth it, to show up for yourself. Amen? Sometimes things get in the way. And I want to read something. I'm going to talk about it, and then I'm going to read it again. This is on page 60. If you're reading this book, Song of Increase, this is what the cover looks like. It says, page 60, manifestation can be done, as humans sometimes do, using emotion as fuel, but this can bring many entanglements that disrupt the clarity. We can also enliven our imaginations by acting as one and in unity, which is simpler, cleaner. Thus, the world we imagine becomes the world in which we live. May you all live as one and build your home around the heart of your nature. What I want to lift up is this one little phrase. Manifestation can be done, as humans sometimes do, using emotion as fuel, but this can bring many entanglements that disrupt the clarity. Now, emotion is a wonderful activator, as we often say, when we are working to manifest something really specifically in our lives, to give it energy. But the problem is many of us have dysfunctional ways of processing our emotional connections and attachments. For instance, now stay with me. I'm still talking about manifestation. Stay with me. So when I was little, a little kid, my dad was disabled. He was injured on the job, and he couldn't work. And there were 9 kids. 7 of us survived into adulthood. So you can imagine there was always a financial need. So he had operation after operation. They tried to figure it out, and they gave him drugs and things like that for the pain. Well, that got to be too much. Because he said, Doc, I can't do this. I'm losing 2 and 3 days. I can't remember. The doctor said, no problem. When you have pain, just take a drink of scotch. That'll help. So if 1 was good, 12 were better. No pain then. And what I learned, and this is just me now, I don't know about my other siblings, but what I learned is the message I received was if I could just be good enough, maybe everything would be okay. Maybe I could take care of this one or take care of that one or say it the right way or entertain everybody. Maybe everything would be okay. Right? And so that was how I learned to manage emotions. And so there wasn't a lot of room for mine because I was kind of taking care of everyone else's. Well, then as I grew and developed and I moved into ministry, I was working in the hospital. And there was a patient I became too emotionally enmeshed with. The patient was dying of AIDS, and his whole family was there, and they were very relieved, obviously, to get a minister who was not telling him as he was dying he was going to hell, but that God loved him. And his vitals were so bad, and every time I would go to pray with him and I put my hand on his chest, his vitals went to normal. That's a very intense situation to be in. And I stayed because the family thought I was keeping him alive. And my boss knew I'd been down there when he left, to go home. And the next day when he arrived and I was still in the room, something happened there. My boss came up to me and says, "What in God's name are you still doing in this room, keeping this patient alive?" I said, "They need me." He said, "Not anymore. Time to go. You are too enmeshed." He was obviously right. He was obviously right. I was getting in the way of this soul's journey, actually. He needed to pass, and I was there trying to save somebody that didn't need saving. That's an emotional entanglement. His journey was trying to go, and I kept inserting myself where I didn't belong. See, I thought I was doing the right thing because I thought I was helping. So that with that case, I had to do a study on all of the emotional relationships I had grown up with in the family and compare them to how I'd worked with this family. And I saw myself. I saw my unhealthy codependence. I saw my need to help everybody and forget myself. And I saw how, in fact, that can derail somebody else's process. So when I read that sentence about emotional entanglement, I've lived that one, and I'm still learning that lesson. I am admitting to you, I am still learning that lesson. So let's look at it one more time. Manifestation can be done, as humans sometimes do, using emotion as fuel, but this can bring many entanglements that disrupt the clarity. We can also enliven our imaginations by acting as one and in unity, which is simpler, cleaner. Thus, the world we imagine becomes the world in which we live. May you all live as one and build your home around the heart of your nature. When we are on purpose with what we are to be doing, when we are really seeking God's guidance, when we are living from the soul and working with our dreams to bless the collective, creating out of love for the good of humanity. Is everybody okay back there? Okay, all right. Holding the frame, then the world we imagine becomes the world in which we live. And getting to that is full of journeys like this. As I'm talking about the world we imagine being the world in which we live, it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean life is full of only up. Many New Thought people, self-helpers, would have you think if you just do 5 easy steps, life is good. I know because we've had some of those people here, and then 3 months later, those same people who were at those workshops are in my office saying, "What have I done wrong? Because life is not going the way I thought." I say, "You're doing it exactly right." This is life on life's terms. But you have the power to manifest in your life. And God is waiting on you to do it. It is you that is the mighty manifester that God will work in and through. And as you move, as you change, as you grow, changes will be necessary for you. You will move things into your life that have never been there before. You will take things out of your life that have been there for 30 years. You will get new habits. You will release old habits. To move forward, to do what is yours to do. We are one collective body here at CCU Orlando. Even those joining us from so far away, as far as Australia, you're in this with us. In our own lives, then, what are we to do?